for. Voting is your right. Use your right to vote and make a difference. More information about elections, voting, and political parties can be found on the website of the Ministry of Justice at www.electionsfinland.fi.
Good evening. Welcome to Think Africa's I Vote series. This is Sofia Achame. I'm the Vice Chair at Think Africa. Today is our last episode of I Vote series. Over the past 2 weeks, I have been moderating panel discussions with candidates who are running for the municipal election on June 13th this year. Today also I have 4 candidates with me today, and I hope you will stay tuned to hear about their political views. The purpose of these panel discussions is for you, our audience, to get a better understanding of the Finnish political parties, and also through our discussions you get to hear about what kind of decisions are made at the municipality and municipalities in Finland. The other reason is to give platform to candidates who are of African descent or members of Think Africa, especially now since because of the corona pandemic, they're not able to physically go out and campaign. And I would like to say that we are also collaborating with Moniheli and Theo Media to bring you this series live. Today we have a bit of a hybrid situation. With that going on, I would like to introduce our panelists for today. Our first panelist is Beatrice Vesikko from Helsinki, representing the Center Party. Welcome, Beatrice.
Thank you, Sofia.
Okay, our second panelist is Linus Anyamele from Helsinki, also representing the Christian Democratic Party. Welcome, Linus. You're muted.
Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you. Our third panelist is Dr. Theresia Bilola from Turku, our first candidate from Turku for this panel discussion, representing the Greens, the Green Party. Welcome, Dr. Theresia.
Thank you very much, Sofia.
And last but not least, I have here with me Rhoda Korpijärvi from Helsinki, also representing the National Coalition Party, Kokemus. You are also our first panelist from this party, which is very interesting since they're the majority in Helsinki municipality. But we will talk about that a bit later. Thank you so much for being here, all of you who are also online, and Rhoda in person. Before we get to your candidacy, why you chose to run for this year and about your political aspirations, I would like to give you the chance to introduce yourself. Perhaps Rhoda, since you're here in person, I could maybe give you the chance to introduce yourself. Welcome.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Sofia. My name is Rhoda Korpijärvi and I'm representing the National Coalition Party, that's Kokomus in Finnish, and I'm so happy and glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. Yeah. And Beatrice, please tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Beatrice Vesikko. I'm representing the Keskusta Party, which is Central Party of Helsinki. Okay.
Okay. And Linus?
My name is Linus Anyamele. I'm representing the Christian Democrats here in Helsinki.
Yes. Tell us a bit about yourself. Like, who are you for our audience?
Well, I already said my name, and I've lived in Finland since 1992, and I'm trained as a gerontologist, And
Okay.
I'm a pastor as well, and I'm currently working with the city of Helsinki as a caregiver. And I'm also an educationist because I read education Helsinki University,
Okay.
though working as a caregiver at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Theresia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sofia. My name is Theresia Bilola. I live in Turku, obviously. I am originally from Cameroon and I have been living in Finland for the past 15 years.
Okay.
I hold a PhD in social sciences with specialization in planning and managing policies. And I have experience in sustainability at the municipal level and also at the individual level. I am a first-time candidate for the Greens in Turku, or Viriat, as you would say it. I'm a mother of 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Beatrice, would you like to introduce yourself a bit more? You didn't in the beginning.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm Beatrice. I'm from Liberia. This is my first time taking part in politics, so I'm new to
Yes.
the system.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm currently learning. I was learning Finnish language, but I got accepted in Amatekolu, so
Yes.
I'm studying to be a cook. Yeah,
Very
so
good.
far, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Rhoda?
Yeah, I can add something more. You know, I
Yes,
thought it was
please.
just a very short round, but
Yes.
if I would say I'm from Kenya, I came to Finland like 9.5 years ago,
Okay.
and I'm a registered nurse. I work with the Helsinki city, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see immigrants running for the first time this year for this municipality, for 2021, because I think that it shows how much immigrants are now getting into the decision making part.
Yeah, actually it's my first time, and
Yes.
I'm so happy really to see so many of us running, and
Yeah,
it tells something
absolutely.
about what's going on in Finland generally, so I'm really happy and excited for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very good that all of us are, and I hope the audience will support you by voting, since now all of you are running. So I will now get into the questions. One of the reasons we're organizing the hashtag iVote series is to promote participation among the immigrant population. Can you tell us, if you're elected, how would you promote the involvement of immigrants in the decision-making process of your municipality? I could start with Beatrice.
Okay, if I'm elected, how do I involve my community? Is through, like, just a community project where we call all people within our community to sit and create a dialogue where things that are affecting us, to discuss it and be able to take it to the decision-making level.
Thank you. And Linus, can you hear me? Perhaps Rhoda, you could continue.
Yeah, if I continue after what Beatrice said, I would support initiatives that kind of like, you know, work with immigrants. For example, we have this third sector, these organizations in Helsinki, so they could be a bridge between a cooperation between municipalities, Helsinki municipality, and this third sector organizations. So they do a very great job. For example, they help in integrating immigrants within Finland, or in this case within Helsinki municipality. They promote the well-being of immigrants by, you know, having health check days and health days, and they also kind of like you know, teach immigrants healthy ways of eating. I do know one of the places where I did my master thesis, so I know this kind of a place. So if we kind of like cooperate between these two actors, like municipality and these organizations, then and then we get to know like what needs the immigrants need. So I think this would enable them to also make decisions, you know, in that way, help in the decision-making system. And also, I would also think about me, if I'm elected to the, you know, municipality, I would kind of like have a channel to kind of like have feedback, opinions, suggestions from, you know, the immigrants. I could be the voice to kind of like give this feedback to the council, where I could, you know, we could cooperate and talk about, you know, the issues that are not really working well, and we can come up with ways of, you know, finding a balance there. So I think these two options or suggestions. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Linus, can you hear us now? Linus, are you online? I think maybe we have lost the connection with Linus. I could continue with Theresia. Should I? Actually, I will maybe modify the question for you, because you are encouraging resident participation and open decision making as your campaigning point. So how would you increase the involvement of immigrants in the decision making process from this aspect?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. The foundation or the reason for me to even join the election trail is because I saw a gap between us internationals. I don't use the word immigrant a lot. Internationals and the native Finns, is that we are usually out of information, or we don't really care about what happens in the country. So as a starting for my campaign, I launched my Wednesdays for Turku campaign, where I inform and encourage people like you and me, who are not necessarily decision makers, to be involved in their communities. And then if I'm elected, I would want to ensure that the channels for feedback are clearly communicated to different immigrant communities, not just in Finnish, but also in the languages that they can understand. I know it's important that everyone who comes here should try to learn the language, but before you learn the language, you should be able to know what is happening around you and be able to contribute to the society somehow. And a third way of doing that is that I want to increase and strengthen the collaboration between the City of Turku and third sector organizations. They are doing a lot, but usually the collaboration between the city and these organizations, it's one-off funding or just one-time visit. They are not really inside these organizations, seeing what they are doing and seeing how they can reach the everyday person. It's not easy for the city to reach each person, but if they go through these organizations, I think we can achieve a lot. And from my party perspective, we, as a national group in the league, we have made sure that the election program is available in over 10 languages already. And yesterday, there is also a version available in Easy Finnish. So I think this year in Turku, more people are reached with material about the elections and actually what the Greens are all about, what they can achieve if they are elected into the city council. And also for the feedback, I know that these channels exist, but one thing that I want to do if I'm elected is that I ensure that the feedback doesn't just go and end in the systems that they have created, but that they actually reach the decision-making tables and I can get the feedback back to the people who gave this feedback. So if there is something that they proposed and it wasn't done, there should be reason that is sent back to the people who made the proposal about why this was not done or why it is kept for a further date.
Thank you so much. All of you have said the importance of third sector organizations like Think Africa, who actually reach through our members and through our social media channels, people who are everyday people, and in a way it would be very vital if municipalities get to understand that, or the council gets to understand that, who they should contact. Or there's always this negative thing like but we don't know how to get to them. But these third sector organizations even voluntarily are working towards the well-being of a lot of immigrants or internationals, as Theresia said. So it will be good if the partnership is strengthened in a way. But I would like to ask Beatrice, what made you choose the Center Party, and also your motivation to have run this year, since it's your first time? Maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophia. I actually didn't choose this Central Party. The Central Party chose me. I
Okay.
was invited, yeah, I was invited to the Central Party to be part of their candidate. And after going through their information and their platform, I realized that we share similar value when it comes to children, family, and other people. So that was one of the reasons I decided to be part of the Central Party because of our shared value when it
Yeah.
comes to those things.
That's very good. It also says a lot about that parties are also actually now reaching out to immigrants to run for candidacy. I mean, I feel like we've come a long way from 10, 15 years ago where I feel that immigrants were so invisible in the society, in the community, but now parties are reaching out to candidates, and our Think Africa member, as like Beatrice, to actually run for candidacy. It's very encouraging to see, Beatrice. What about you, Theresia? Why did you run for the Greens Party? What was the motivation behind it? Perhaps you studied sustainability, so it was maybe easier to choose that, but you can still tell us.
Okay, that's one reason, but I have never been like part of any party. I was just doing my work. I have experience working with the city of Turuku's climate team on sustainability and such. And they contacted me that we've seen the work you do in the city, and we think you will do well in politics. So I gave it a bit of thought, and then I came into it as an active resident of Turuku from the standpoint that I want to see and hear more from people who look like me, have similar backgrounds, have similar kind of lifestyles, even if they don't look like me, have some experiences like me and challenges like me. So I want to give a voice and visibility to the person on the street, to the international who lives in Turuku but does not care or does not know how to be part of the decisions and activities in the city. And then I noticed that the Green Party's values are largely international. They have a global outlook. Internationalization is seen there as a resource and not a threat. So it was easy for me to accept to run for the elections with this party. I could easily fit my values and what I would like to see in tomorrow's Turuku in the Green Party. So that's why I decided to run for the election.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very encouraging also that you were same as Beatrice, that they reached out to you and saw your potential. Yeah, it says a lot about both of you. And Rhoda, what is your story?
Yeah, my story. Do you know, 4 years ago, I never voted in the municipal elections. Just 4 years ago, 2017.
Yes.
And it's a mixture of the fact that I wasn't following the politics, politics here in Finland. And I also really didn't see what we're having right now.
Yeah,
so I didn't see anything. So, but then 2018, the following year, I got interested in knowing more about politics because I volunteered in the National Coalition Party's election campaigns. One that time and the other one in 2019. So for
the parliament, do you mean?
Well, we had this Spitzenkandidat when the former Prime Minister Alex Stubb was vying for the European for this European Parliament thing. So yeah, so I was in that campaign, and then also for the Parliament elections in 2019. I was in that time with the women, the Kokomus women in Espoo at the time. And then when we were doing this kind of like campaigns, they were like, okay, so if you want to join us, because they have this women organization in, under Kokomus.
Within the party, do you mean?
Yeah, they have it in Vantaa, Espoo, and Helsinki, and in some other cities. So they asked me if I want to join them, and I was like, okay, let me think about it. And then at some point, because I had been with them in the campaigns, I had seen their work ethic. It was I really loved what I saw. So I was like, okay, in the end, I joined the Helsinki women's group under Kokoomus then. So when it was time for elections, I wasn't nominated. I actually nominated myself.
Okay,
yes,
that's also
I did.
one way to do it.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, and I actually wanted to really like have, to have a say in the, Theresia said, like, we want to see, like, what am I saying now? We want to have an effect of the immigrants, like to get to kind of like talk to the immigrants rather when we are in the politics. So I really like the idea of that. So yeah, so it's,
But talking about that, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Kokomus website, it doesn't have English. It's only Swedish and Finnish.
It has English. It really has. We can check right now. Yes. On top there's Finnish, and then there's English. It has there. I'm not lying. It's true.
Okay.
I've actually,
I will check it during the break.
We can. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. We have both languages.
Okay,
actually,
because
I mean,
for me
Finnish
that's the
and
first. That's the. I always feel like that's the first thing that parties should do when they say that immigrants are welcome. Not to say that we shouldn't study Finnish or Swedish, but to make sure that at least English, at least the least they can do is have it in English. Like, at least that's my opinion. But of course, there are other languages that many immigrants speak, and as Theresia said, for example, the Green Party has translated into many languages.
Yeah.
I'm not saying English is the higher language for immigrants. There is Arabic also, and Russian. But still, usually the easier is English to translate it, as anybody can translate the websites into English. But no problem. Okay, sorry about that. If I was mistaken, apologies.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We have that, and that's why we have some of the immigrants running actually right now in Kokoomus, Helsinki.
Okay.
Not so many, but we have some running. So yeah. So,
okay.
but I can assure you, we have English translations.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. So before going to the next question, candidates, I want to, because today most of you are running your top 3 campaigning points involve employment and discrimination, or trying to remove discrimination from recruitment. Can you say a bit about that, Beatrice? What are your top 3 campaigning points?
Okay, my top 3 points is equality when it comes to women and children, and I talk about the elder also. My main focus is on immigrant women, because from statistics last year, they realized in Finland that highly qualified immigrant women are unemployed.
Yes,
and it's a challenge that a lot of women are facing in Finland. It's not just the immigrant, but you also have Finnish women who are also facing the same kind of a problem. But how can we encourage women, and how can women get employment? Being a woman doesn't mean being a woman. We want equal opportunity, not charity. So we want to be given opportunity to get job. And one of the challenges that we had at immigrant is like, for example, if you went to school in Finland and graduated from the university and applied for the job, you and the same person that went to the university, they will sometimes tell you that your Finnish is not good enough to get the job. And as an immigrant, you come from your background, you have your hard skills in things that you do back home. And you come to Finland, and that's also challenge in how to integrate into the Finnish society. You having a job back home and coming back, and you have to start Finnish language from the beginning level, instead of trying to start Finnish language that will be able to balance your experience and learn at the same time learning the Finnish, where you can learn the job in the same process that will enable you to get a job. So there's a huge challenge in trying to integrate and get a job as a woman.
Okay, and what is your other campaigning point?
The other one is equal opportunity for children. And as a mother, one of the reasons I really decided when I was approached to run as a candidate in this coming election was some of my first-hand experience in, I wouldn't call it discrimination or something, because I don't want to generalize the situation. But I think in the school, the same care that is given to a Finnish or another child should be given to immigrant children. Immigrant children should choose what they want to do, but not be told what they should do, because to tell them, say, your education level is not compared to the other person. So every child or children should have equal opportunity in making their decision the decision shouldn't be done on behalf of the children in the school.
Thank you so much. There's actually research supporting what you're saying. What about Theresia?
Yeah, I am very invested in this particular topic because I have my own experiences. I have the experiences of so many people about the integration processes and the employment support that is given to immigrants. In that sense, what I think is that the system needs to be kind of changed. I think that as the system as it stands now, the support for especially highly educated immigrants is not good. For instance, when someone has to go under the TE office, the goal is to give you a job. The goal is not to give you what you studied for. And I believe that if someone studied something or if someone is driving towards a particular career, is because that's what they want to do. And when you give this person a job just for the sake of giving a job, there's a likelihood that this person will not stay on that so-called job you have given them. So I would like to see that there is kind of targeted services for different groups of immigrants. Immigrants should not be put in one box, or unemployed immigrants should not be put in one box. The type of support for integration and employment should be according to the needs and different stages of life that immigrants find themselves. I believe that people come here at different stages of their life, and people come here with different educational backgrounds. So the kind of support you give to a mother or a woman will be different from what you give to another kind of immigrant. I think the problem is when everyone is put into the same box and given the same kind of integration support. For instance, I'll give you my little experience. I came here, and first year I was in the master's degree. I didn't have the time to study Finnish. I never went through any integration.
Yes.
And after the master's, I stayed for just about 6 months and got into the PhD, and it was a funded position. So it was like full-time work. I didn't have any time to study Finnish or whatever. The university at that time did not have anything that links you with the world of work or helping you to study Finnish or get integrated. And there are several people in this society like that, for whom it's not their fault that they haven't studied Finnish professionally. They have the skills to do different things in this society, but just because there is this low-hanging fruit of an excuse that, oh, you don't speak Finnish, then you are given like different treatment when you apply for jobs. So I would want to see that they are targeted. There are different services for different kinds of immigrants and different kinds of stages of life. Immigrants should not be put in one box and given integration or employment support. I would like to see that in the way the municipality support unemployed people.
Yeah, thank you so much. Linus, I see that you're back. Thank you so much for coming back.
Yes.
Before giving you a chance to speak, I will ask you some questions since you have missed some talking points here. I would like to provide to the audience that some statistics for our next discussion, which mainly focuses on employment of immigrants. This is so that you don't think now we're just talking all the time about employment of unemployment of immigrants or discrimination on immigrants, and we're not trying to generalize. But I would like to tell you, for instance, statistics I found from the Ministry of Employment and Economy. At the end of 2018, the unemployment rate of residents with foreign background in Helsinki was 18.6%, whereas the unemployment rate of residents with Finnish background was 7.4%. So it's almost double what the residents with Finnish background is, 7.4 and 18.6. And also the employment rate among 20 to 64-year-olds of foreign background was 56.4, whereas for residents of Finnish background was 78.4. So it's with this backdrop that we're trying to talk and also discuss how to improve this low number of employment among immigrant population in Finland. Saying that, I will now give the chance to Linus to talk a bit about why he joined his party, what made him decide to run, and also a bit about the top 3 campaigning points. Linus.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I hope you are hearing me very well.
Yes.
First, I must apologize that I was cut off from the screen. And
no problems.
Yes. Actually, what motivated me to run for as a candidate for Christian Democrat is because of the value, the Christian value it upholds. And as a pastor, it's naturally for me to align myself to a party that upholds Christian values.
Okay, thank you.
And then in addition to that, Christian Democrats believe that immigrants are a resource, they are a positive resource, and they would want to make use of them. And I believe also as well, we just concluded from what you explained to me, and there's been this kind of underutilized of immigrants. So when a member of the Christian Democrats invited me to run for a candidate, I accepted it, and I think that my candidacy will also bring a kind of input to the party. And my 3 main point agenda in this case is that, as usual, we are talking about integration. Of course, we look at the families, immigrant families, we look at the young people, we look at like the statistics already have shown disparity. And so one of my decisions is to promote their integration and at the same time making sure that their cultural heritage is not lost. And also support the well-being of young people, young immigrants, and families and the elderly as well. We are all aging here in Finland. I've been here since 1992, and just really pretty long years. And I should be thinking about at least getting old, retirement, and those kind of things. And as well, in as much as we want to ensure that what I went through, that the future generation do not go through them. So there's the need for taking such an agenda for myself, this candidate. And lastly, I also observe that most immigrants here, particularly those of them of African background, do not really know how they get information or what kind of study or how to get a job they should make. So I think that my candidacy will help to promote them and help them in this area, empower them in this area. And I think that is...
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's the first time that we've had someone who's stayed quite a long time in Finland, for over almost 30 years. Yeah. What about Rhoda? Have you told me about your top 3 campaigning points, please?
Not yet. Yeah. So my top 3 points are like, the improving the social healthcare services. I'm a nurse myself, registered nurse, and so I'm fully aware of the problems that we go through as nurses, and the problems had been there, and now with COVID-19, it's crazy, and nurses are saying they're leaving, or some have left, and the situation is not really good. So a National Coalition Party is proposing that we need to have more nurses, trained nurses, as in like having more the number of nurses, nursing students in schools, and of course also National Coalition Party is also proposing having nurses from abroad, which the project is actually in motion. I have met nurses who have come from abroad to this project. So in that way, because right now the situation is not really good, and if we're not really careful with this situation, COVID situation, we might have way much less nurses working. So, and right now we are really having to work quite a lot, long days, because there isn't not many enough nurses there.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the first point. And the second one, it's this immigrant integration. For me, I have this language, Finnish language courses. In Helsinki, I don't know if we have many language courses. Actually, like the places which provide these courses, I just know of very few. But where are the others, you know? Are they there even? Like, I'm very sure that actually I do believe that integrating nicely into the Finnish society, we need to learn this language, you know? So I feel like we need to have more of these language courses. And of course, you know, helping immigrants get jobs. Like, for example, with this anonymous recruitment. Yes, that one. Yeah, it's in motion already, but not all companies have gotten it to use it. So my third point is emphasizing bullying against in schools and at workplaces. So it's very important that we kind of like, I know some people know workers are employees or then in school what to do and what not to do in case there's the need to involve police, for example, school bullying, then yeah, that we can do that. But at work, for example, we have these labor unions. I don't know if most of us know. We're talking earlier about the labor union thingy,
yes.
those elections. So it's very important that we kind of like create awareness, let people know, everyone know that they can be involved in these labor unions, because in case you have any problems at work, be it contracts or yes, if you cannot handle it well, then you have someone in that labor union who can do it on your behalf, so that you don't have to kind of like have these situations at work. So yeah, those are my 3 main points.
Okay, I have some questions for you about, for example, needing nurses, how that goes, for instance, towards against when you think about all immigrants are being pushed to study nursing and IT. So I want to ask you about that, and also about this anonymous recruitment thing, where anonymous recruitment, yes, but when you go to the interview, they can see who you are, your name and everything. So how deep this anonymous recruitment thing is. But before that, I would like to take a break.
Okay.
I hope you'll get maybe some water or snacks and get back our audience. The iVote series is brought to you in collaboration with Moniheli and Theo Media. We'll be back shortly in a few minutes.
Ikinä ei voi tietää, missä niihin oikein törmää tässä yhteiskunnassa. Mikä ihme tän kaiken takana oikein on? Taas 1 tai 2 uutta sellaista tulossa, vaikea sanoa. Ovat päättäneet, että ihan jokainen luomakunnan jäsen hoidetaan. Päättävät, että täällä voi harrastaa kaikenlaista lorvailua. Tuonnekin laitettu pystyyn oikein oma yhdyskunta. Ja mitä kaikkea ne niille tuolla syöttääkään. Näillä eväilläkö ihmiskunta sitten selviää? Kuka tästä kaikesta päättää?
Anteeksi, rouva.
Mutta minähän se päätän tästä kaikesta. Minä olen yksi heistä. Tai siis, minä olen yksi meistä. Kaiken takana on kunta. Ja me päätämme, millaisessa kunnassa elämme.
If you are entitled to vote, you will get a notification card by post or in digital form. The notification of the right to vote states your name, the election day, and your polling station on election day. The notification also includes a list of advance polling stations near your home. You can vote on election day or in advance. If you have not received the notification of the right to vote, you can contact the Digital and Population Data Services Agency. Get to know the candidates in advance before the elections. Information about candidates is available on television, in the newspapers, and on the websites of political parties and constituency associations. You can also use voting advice apps to choose your candidate. When you look for information, Pay attention to the source of the information and who is sharing the information. If you have unreasonable difficulties as required by law to go to the polling station, you can also vote in advance in your own home. In this case, you need to notify the Central Municipal Election Board beforehand that you want to vote at home. The board's telephone number is given on the polling card. You can vote at the polling station despite the coronavirus pandemic. The election officials will monitor your safety and guide you at the polling station. If you are in isolation or in quarantine, do not come to the polling station. Ask the Central Municipal Election Board about your voting possibilities. It is safe to use forms and pens when following the instructions at the polling station. If you want, you can bring your own pen. Use a face mask or a face shield at the polling station. Keep a distance of at least 2 meters to other voters and officials at all times at the polling station. There will be hand sanitizer at the polling station. Use hand sanitizer when entering the polling station and when leaving the polling station. If needed, use hand sanitizer even during the voting process, for example, if you touch your face. Clean your hands. Show your ID to the election official. Remove your face mask when the election official requests you to do so. Grab the ear loops on both sides of the mask and take off the mask. Hold on to the ear loops during the identity check. Do not let go of the face mask. Put the mask back on your face when the election official gives you permission to do so. Put the mask back on by still holding on to the ear loops. Do not touch your face while putting the mask back on your face. The official will give you a ballot. Take the ballot and go to the voting booth. Each candidate has a candidate number. Write the number of the candidate that you wish to vote for clearly on the ballot. Do not write or draw anything else on the ballot. Fold the ballot in the middle so that no one can see the number. Go back to the election official. The election official will stamp your ballot. Drop your ballot in the ballot box. Now you have voted. Use hand...
Welcome back. This is the final episode of Think Africa's I Vote series. Before we went for a break, Rhoda was talking about her 3 campaigning points, but we will get back to that. So now I have a question for Beatrice. Beatrice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, one of your campaigning areas is equal opportunity and inclusivity in employing immigrant women. What can you do to improve the employability of women in your municipality, both for immigrant women with basic skills and high skills?
What we cannot do is to improve is by making awareness, because to be able to get employment, we need to create a network. So we, as an unemployed immigrant, we need to take every opportunity given to us by the Finnish organization. So we need to search for information, like one of my colleagues said. And how do we get the information? Is to ask questions, go to organizations that have ways of teaching people how to get employment. and talking about highly skills and immigrant and basic skills. You don't have to have the call formal education to be hard skills. You can have like a vocational training. For example, you can be a tailor. You know how to sew. You don't have to go to the university, but you're a good person. You know how to make clothes. So how can we utilize the opportunity that you have? So it's like we try to make sure that we look for the channels to use to be able to give the opportunity to other people. Because it's not.
If I may interrupt you, because I actually just saw today a new statistics that said that only 1 out of 4 hiring HR people will hire people of foreign background because their Finnish skill is not good enough. So when you tell immigrants who are not employed to go and look for the right channels to be hired, we have been looking for the right channels to be hired. That's what people are going to ask you. We have been doing this for 10 years. So unless the employers change their ways of treating people of foreign background better, and I'm not telling you this out of my head, this is research, that even names, by just looking at CVs are thrown. So you can't really put all the pressure on the immigrants when it's a structural issue. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said before, most of the times to get a job, it's always based on your Finnish language. It's a challenge if you cannot speak the Finnish language to get a
But
job.
should it be based on?
It shouldn't be a challenge to do that. We should be able, because to be part of the society, we need to integrate into the society. We are from diverse background, and everybody knows that the Finnish language is a difficult language to learn. So if we learn in the Finnish language, we should also be given equal opportunity with the employer. We shouldn't be like, sometimes you send your application, they look at the names and they look at your ethnicity, and the possibility of you getting that job is very difficult. Sometimes you look at the job description and you can actually perform the job, but at the end of the day, to even get the call back from the employer to get the interview is not easy. So those are difficulties we are all facing as an immigrant.
Okay, thank you. We have a question online for for candidates who are running in Helsinki. So Rhoda, Beatrice and Linus. Elizabeth says, great to see that you are running in Helsinki. There are 40,000 job seekers moved from the TE office services to the city of Helsinki. Many of them are foreigners. Question to you is, if you could decide, what systems would you put in place to do a better job than what the TE office did previously? Linus, you could take the floor.
Thank you very much. Immigrants are going really through these challenges of work and employment. We all emphasize language, and we have just said that it shouldn't really be a barrier. And looking at the statistics you have given, if I am to decide how we go about it, I remember I have a member of my church has been here and all the time complaining of a lack of job and so many things. I encouraged him to learn the Finnish language, and after that he should take a course, because in Finland there is these short courses that one can go through and climb to whatever level he wants. And I encourage him to go and take a short course on this school curator, which he did, and become really fully employed today. And also have been able to encourage many of them that if you can, entrepreneurship is also a means of helping yourself in such a situation, so that you can open up your own personal company that would also help you. Well, if we talk in terms of in the municipality where the grassroots are taken, a lot of immigrants suffer a problem of maybe securing the type of job they want. So I think if I have opportunity or have a chance or the platform to suggest, I would like to promote a situation where migrants encourage them to be entrepreneurs themselves, and
But not
also.
everybody can be an entrepreneur. There are teachers. There are so many fields that, I mean, my question to you, actually, even before somebody asked about the job seekers from TE office, is that so many people are being pushed into fields like nursing and IT, but not everybody can be a nurse and IT. I mean, this is ridiculous, and isn't it a waste of also resources to expect people who have studied 10, 15 years, who are experts in their field, to tell them to come and study something completely new? What do you think about that, Linus?
Well, one of the ways this can be tackled is if a kind of for those of them with high qualifications and a certain level of education, if the municipality, the city, the system can, in a way, create a kind of job bridge in a sort of practice, not like one finishes school and go into practice, but I mean a kind of job bridge in which even when they are in school, they can of course take part of their time and get studies and part of the time and be trained in that area, and at the end when they graduate, I think having acquainted themselves with their companies where they have practice or so they can then automatically get job when
they already have a connection graduate. In a way.
Yes, they have a connection. So I think that is one of the ways that. Yeah, that's one way such problem can be solved. I think so.
Thank you. Theresia, from hearing what Beatrice and Linus are saying, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I think I have a lot to say, but I'll try to make it short. I already touched on this topic of whether these services are actually catering to what they are supposed to cater for. I think it's almost the same situation in Turku. Many unemployed people have been moved from the employment office to what we call in Turku Tiyopist, which is under the city. And what I would like to say, in addition to what I've already said, is that there needs to be a recheck of this. There are several projects running in the city, several initiatives and all that in the name of supporting employment for immigrants or for people who are not yet speaking Finnish very well. But when I look into these projects in my time working in the city, when I look into these projects, these so-called immigrants are not they are not sufficiently represented in these projects. How can you be making decisions for a group of people when they are not sitting at the decision-making table? How can you be planning and implementing policy when the people to whom you're going to apply these policies are nowhere in these projects?
It is indirectly giving employment to Finns, if you actually think about it. New projects.
Yeah, so it's like multiplying projects and giving to people who have no idea about the experiences or the challenges that the people who are supposed to benefit from this are supposed to get. So my proposal, if I am elected, is that for every project that has immigrants, the targeted group should be sufficiently represented in the planning and implementation of the project, not just being a receiver of what is coming to the projects. I think this is also a sort of saving for the municipality if they get these people represented in these projects, because then they are sure to be addressing the needs and not just what they think are the needs of these groups of people.
Yeah, there's a big difference in that. What do you think about anonymous recruitment?
I know it has been tried in Turku. I don't know how successful that is, but I don't think it's a very successful model. I think if you put my name and a Finnish name, it's very clear that I am not a native
Yeah,
Finn.
but anonymous recruitment
don't know
means
how-
your name is not put.
Yeah, but at some point you are going to show your face, or you are going to show something that shows that you are not a Finnish person. So it has to really be a process that is indeed anonymous. If you take my CV, by the time you read 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, you might be able to decipher from there that, okay, this person is not a native Finn. What if I had my degree in somewhere in Cameroon?
What if that's
How
not
do you
mentioned? That's
make
what
that?
anonymous recruitment is. It
Well-
just says you have, for instance, a PhD in this. It doesn't say your name, your age, your gender,
Okay.
probably. It's anonymous. And
Well,
sometimes...
if it's indeed anonymous, then maybe it's going to work. And then I think the interviews too have to be anonymous. I don't know how.
That is not anonymous. Well, that's where it fails, actually, anonymous recruitment. But yeah, I think my issue is instead of making people somehow hide their bias, because they'll be biased, let's make it anonymous. Or should it be educating people so that they will not be biased? It's like putting a band-aid to some wound. You're not really dealing with the issue. This is just symptom. At least that's my opinion. But what do you think about anonymous recruitment, Rhoda?
I like the idea, but the first time I heard of it, I also actually thought about it like you go to the interview and everything, and then what? People are going to see you.
Yeah.
But the whole point of this was because we've heard of these researches that people had done here in Finland that, your name and everything, your application just goes out.
Yes.
But the whole point of this anonymous recruiting process is to kind of like make you get there, to be shortlisted, and then you show yourself. Now, it's another point that when you present yourself, and then you speak of your skills and what you know and everything, how you present yourself, it's then about them to see if they will employ you or not, as opposed to them throwing your paper without seeing
before
you.
anything.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the whole point. And I kind of like, I'd give it a chance. They've used it here in Helsinki in some places. I hear it has been successful, but I'm yet to still know like how wide it will be used also, but I'm excited about it actually. Yeah.
At least it will make them see that before they throw by
Exactly.
just looking at the name.
We'll get there, and then they'll
get
see
there.
you there, and then you present your case in the interview, and then they'll decide, will we take this person or not?
Yeah.
And I think it would be so, horrible for someone to kind of like just decide because of where you come from, ethnicity, and how you look, that they won't give you. I mean, they already know how you, your skills, how you talk and everything, how you represent yourself. So yeah, it's kind of like, it would be so horrible to kind of like turn a person who really suits in that job, place, just turning them, just like that, after they've seen you. So that was the whole point of this. I think so.
I think maybe it's very good, but it should be supported with still educating people about racism and about discrimination.
Definitely.
By itself, I really wonder how long it will go, because once you get into the door, they already see that, no, we don't want, it's easier for us to work with and
it's true.
so I feel it should be supported, but of course it's a good initiative to have, perhaps at least a start because the whole idea is that people with foreign names don't even get any interviews, although they apply for 500 jobs. So if you think about that, I think anonymous recruitment has its own good things, so to speak. So Rhoda, I had asked you earlier what I asked to Linus about people studying, when you said nursing and like the National Coalition Party also having this initiative where they will bring that we need more people to study nursing. I was thinking about, yes, it's good so that the nurses that are here, especially because of COVID, we saw how exhausted nurses are all over the world. But how do you see that initiative when you think of immigrants being forced to study nursing because it's employable? Because you always have to. What do you think?
I have to say it's not really a good thing if you think about it, that someone is being forced to kind of like do something when they were actually trained for something else. But for example, this anonymous recruiting, if it does really succeed and people really get the jobs that they had gone to study for, then you don't have to find people who are forced to kind of like come to nursing or IT or whatever like that. So I feel like yeah, if we have this kind of a way.
Other initiatives.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will now go to our yes or no lightning round. Everyone, are you still alive? Theresia, Beatrice, Linus?
Yes.
So these are just a few questions where you will respond with either a yes or a no. No explanations. So I'll just ask you the questions and yes or no. You can say this and this also if you want. It is better to increase taxes than cut municipal services. Beatrice?
No.
It is better to increase.
Linus?
Yes.
Yes. Theresia?
I
Yes.
have.
Yes, okay. Rhoda?
It
It's
is
better to increase taxes than cut municipal services.
Can I make a comment?
No. Okay, we have no from Beatrice and Rhoda and yes from Linus and Theresia. I love it when all of you don't agree. It makes it more nicer. The second one is, in the future, municipal services should be increasingly outsourced to private companies. Rhoda? Yes. Beatrice?
Outsourced to private company. No, I disagree with that.
No. Theresia?
I'm sorry, I can't answer yes or no, so it's both for me on this one.
Okay. Thank you. That's also possible. Linus?
No.
No. Okay. We have a bit of both. Yes, no,
But
yes,
can
no,
we
yes
can
or
we
no.
say some things?
Sorry?
Can we comment on these questions?
No, you cannot.
Because there are pros and cons.
Yes, of course, there are pros and cons, and the questions are that kind that there will be pros and cons in both. But maybe if we have time, perhaps audience could say something, but you cannot say any more. The last one is, municipalities should guarantee health care for paperless people. Beatrice?
I would just say in the middle.
Okay.
Not yes, not no. Yeah.
Linus?
The same as Beatrice.
Okay. Theresia?
I take the middle line.
What do you think, Theresia?
Total yes on this one.
Total
yes.
Thanks. And Rhoda?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. I think it's interesting. All of you are answering it differently, and in a way, maybe in this yes or no lightning round, the audience can also see how different the parties are, perhaps, or maybe how different candidates' views are, political views. But in saying this, I think we're going to wrap up our session. This is our final episode of I Vote series. I really thank the candidates for coming here, Rhoda in person and all of you online. I really wish you good luck in your candidacy and really encourage you to go further than this. To the audience, I really want to say I hope these 4 or 5 panel discussions and in general discussion about voting and municipal election, I hope it has encouraged you to go and vote on June 13th, or if you're not able to vote in person, you can vote in advance if you're in Finland from 26 May until 8 June, or from abroad from the 2nd until the 5th of June. Every single vote counts, and if you have seen candidates where you thought like, exactly, that's what I think, then go vote for them. Or if you thought, this is so annoying, this is bonkers, this is crazy, I do not support this, then go and vote for the person you support, so that the decisions that are being made at the municipal level actually agree with the inhabitants of cities, and so that we really take part in the decision making, all of us immigrants. Yeah, thank you so much, audience, and also our panelists. With this, I say goodbye.
Thank you, Sofia.
Good evening.
Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you very
But I don't know
much.
if I don't know if all my questions were taken.
It's a pastor.